Happy, what day is it of filming? It's Wednesday, 8 March 2023, as of filming this in the city of Shoreline, King County, Washington State, United States of America, planet Earth, the original planet Earth, for short. Yeah. Okay. I am admiring my teethies. This is kind of a remnant from yesterday. So yesterday I went to, it's like, I got my teeth cleaned yesterday and it went much. I did the fluoride right this time. I think last time when I like went to brush my teeth, like my teeth were still kind of yellowish, and this time they're like pearly white for me in my like dental history. So and maybe it's just because I got them cleaned like about a year ago, but my smile is whiter. So I did the fluoride right this time, which is kind of cool. Or very cool. So I was like looking in the mirror and I was like, oh my gosh, my teeth are actually like, I did it right. I said, last time I think what happened was I had like a cup of noodles or something. I was like, oh crap, I'm not supposed to have hot food, if I'm recalling correctly. Something like that happened where I forgot. But it was earlier in the morning, so I was like, oh, it's only been 3 hours, versus this time I was like, I didn't have hot food until dinner, so I took the 4 hours and extended it longer, and it had potentially a much better final product today after. Like my teeth are whiter than it was after my teeth cleaning last time, but it might also be just an accumulation thing, going in more frequently, kind of thing. So that's not really, it's tangentially related, because I went in and my doctor appointments, be it therapy or dentist, have been different during the COVID-19. Like for my therapy appointments, I wasn't even allowed to go into the office. They were all virtual format meetings with my therapist, counselor, psychologist, whatever one wants to call it. So my doctor appointments during the pandemic have been drastically different. Even if just having to wear a mask, right? Like yesterday was the first time I actually forgot I had a mask on. Like I was in the dental chair and they like gave me the fluid to swish in my mouth for 20 seconds. And I like brought it and I was like, oh my gosh, I have my mask on still, and I didn't even realize I had it on. So for me, that has been very pandemic impacted. And so let's get to the updates for today. One, I wrote and published on Wikipedia focusing on page curation. I did find, so on day 3, it looks like potentially of 3 days. I pegged it as a multi-day project working on the Claire Curzon English Wikipedia article. And I found, so I had the world junior record for the long course 100-meter butterfly on the article. Like the time and the race were already on the article and in the personal best times table, so it wasn't going back and find something new. It was finding a reference that said it was a world junior record, which I was able to find, and it's already on the article. And then my other task for finishing it, making it day 3 of 3, is updating the introduction on that page, which I have yet to do, but I have already written and published. And the world junior records in swimming are an interesting thing. So they were introduced by FINA, which partially rebranded as World Aquatics in 2022. The URL for the website is still like https://www.fina.org. So it's not entirely rebranded as World Aquatics as it stands currently. It's partially in their YouTube channel is like half and half. It's like half World Aquatics, half FINA. So there's like, I don't know if that's the end point or if it's still in the transition rebranding phase. It's kind of smart if they keep it half and half, right? Some people like World Aquatics just doesn't click that that's a governing body, and like FINA, they're like, okay, at least it's an acronym. We get that there's probably some authority there, kind of thing. Versus WA has so many different meanings that it's kind of like just lost in the muck of everything. Like I even World Athletics, WA, like I live in Washington State, or just like, whew. If you want to be noticed by Washington State, choosing the acronym WA is not the way to go, unless you're maybe like West Australia, because that's a state in Australia. And so like, well, I don't know. Point being, yeah, the World Junior Records introduced by FINA. So now introduced by FINA / World Aquatics, maybe I'll just do that. they were introduced in those like 2012 to 2014, and so like times before that don't count. There's a bunch of laws that apply. I think, well, what was it? There's a doping. They introduced new procedures along with the world junior record. So technically, if somebody swam faster before that time might not have adhered to the new standards, like anti-doping rules and regulations that current world junior records do. So, there can be faster times, but if they don't know if the time was clean, should it be counted, kind of thing. And so, like, for me, I count as, okay, if we're trying to elevate the standard, maybe just go with that, with the catch of that being, well, if the standards are consistently updated, like, or continuously updated, or periodically updated, then it invalidates everything before, and at some point, shouldn't it just be times that were considered clean, at least at the time, right? Kind of thing. So it's a point being, it's on the page. I got a reference. Let's move forward. At some point, if the organization FINA/World Aquatics wants to provide clarity on that, they might not. They might get replaced by a different organization if they don't. Like there are consequences for a lack of transparency, especially in those kind of governing bodies, kind of thing. They do transition, and new governing bodies come into existence, and some go out of existence. So it's just a business like kind of anything else in some sense, or organization kind of thing. So yeah, that's the first update. Page curation is ongoing, have made progress, more to do. And then second update is John Dale's still here, and he had a doctor appointment, and they're back from the doctor appointment, and he's spending a second night. So he's here full day today, and then departing, going back to, he lives in Idaho currently, Coralee, Idaho, if I'm recalling correctly, or somewhere in that area, or Sandpoint, Idaho. It's not Boise, I don't think. So something, I haven't been, so yeah. But he's been in a second night, which is kind of cool. So yeah, I think it's cool anyway to have my cousin here, and yeah, and so yeah, I guess that's kind of it rhymes with what I did. Instead of, I think he had like not a dental type doctor appointment, a different type of doctor appointment. But yeah. Those are he's been a pandemic. He's come and visited all throughout the pandemic. He's kind of our most consistent overnight family guest during the pandemic. So it's kind of interesting to hear. He'll come and tell us stories about kind of what's going on in Idaho. And so we get to hear our neighbors to the east. So I live in Washington State. The neighbor state to the east is Idaho. Our Idahoites. I don't know how to. Point being, I think Idaho's kind of a red state, so like Republican state, and Washington State's kind of a blue state, at least where we live in King County, Washington State. So like it can be hearing how drastically different Idaho is operating versus what like King County, Washington State. He'll kind of share what's going on there, and so it's been very eye-opening as to how drastically different the lived experience during the pandemic can be depending on where one lives, even just like county or state difference, kind of thing. So yeah, getting Idaho updates, so to speak, and sharing Washington or King County, Washington State updates. The sharing goes both ways. So happy Wednesday and happy sunny day from here anyway.